Welcome to the Field of 68 After Dark's YouTube channel. We are going to be live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on YouTube and on Stadium for the entirety of the spring.
I think I feel similar about Louisville as I do about Kentucky right now. I do. I think almost identical. Like they're both putting together good teams that aren't going to blow you away. But again, imagine from Kentucky, you're going from Cal still being good in the regular season, not having postseason success. At Louisville, you're flipping it from going from honestly the worst high major program probably the last couple of years. You could say like Kenny Payne is the worst high major head coaching hire I've seen in my covering this sport in 20 plus years, to now having a chance to go to the tournament this year. So I think what Kelsey has done is more impressive, certainly, than what Mark Pope has done in the short term, putting together a team that the pieces fit. And Hepburn was kind of the final, well, not the final key piece, because they still need to get a big. They still need a 5-man at this point. And Great Osabor's on the board. He's going to be visiting Louisville. He's coming from Kentucky, as Rob said. It's kind of a fake visit in Lexington for the most part. He can just hang with his family who's in from England. And now he can take a real visit to Louisville. Then he'll go to Texas Tech. Then he'll finish with Washington, his old coach, Danny Sprinkle. And if they don't get him, I think Norchad Omier is also maybe on the board as a possibility. So if they get one of those two guys, they're in business. They are absolutely in business. If they don't, I don't know if they're an NCAA tournament team.
See, I think that they are a tournament team, even if they don't get one of those two, because they'll add somebody, right? And they'll get someone that will be good enough to give them what they need to be able to make a trip to the tournament out of the ACC. I think Chucky Hepburn is really good. He's going to be an all ACC guard. Rain Smith is a shooter. Corin Johnson is a good piece. We know what Terrence Edwards is. He can be one of those versatile wings. I like Javon Hadley. I actually like the addition of Abubakar Traore. I think he's one of the better defenders that you can pull out of the portal. And your boy, James Scott. Goodman, your boy, James Scott. Don't forget about your boy, James Scott. And if they add Great Osabor, I do think that we're looking at a situation where this is like, I could squint my eyes and see a team that can make the second weekend with him added there. I think that the overall, I think this is the argument I would make. The overall talent level that Kelsey has brought in so far is not quite what the overall talent level that Kentucky is, or that Arkansas is, or that Indiana is. But I would make the argument that these pieces fit together about as well as you can. Like you can see how this is coming together. You could see what his plan was. You could see what he was thinking as he added each one of these guys, and just finish it off with a big guy. Finish it off with someone in the post. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know if Great Osabor is like exactly what you would want out of big, because he's not a 5. He's not someone that's going to sit there and protect the rim and kind of do some of those other things, but you can run offense through him, and all of a sudden you have a really, you put him at the 5 with Terrence Edwards at the 4 and some of these shooters around Chucky Hepburn and Corin Johnson, and all of a sudden you have a team that's really, really difficult to guard.
Look, guys that average 18, 9, and 3 don't grow on trees, and Great Osabor is going to help whoever he ends up with. But I agree with you, Rob, because watching Terrence Edwards and even talking with him this past year when James Madison was on that run, that guy's a dog. Like, he's a winner. Obviously, goes into the NCAA tournament, beats Chucky Hepburn and Wisconsin. That's an interesting subplot to now these two players being on the same team. And Hepburn's a dog, too. He benefits winning. He makes defensive plays happen. And Rain Smith is a guy who, by Kelsey having him follow him to Louisville, Rain understands how to run a team, how to be in a locker room and be a leader. Like, this is a group that you're right. Like, maybe the talent on paper's not at the level of some of those others that you're saying totally. But Jeff, I think this is the interesting part about this. Like, when you said Villanova crushed it in the portal, you could crush it in the portal. And you could even get pieces that come off as a fit. We're not going to know until things all come together. But when you're at the stature of these types of programs, of what Pat Kelsey's trying to build at Louisville, you've got to get dudes who are going to fit what you're trying to do in year one.
Yeah, that's the key, right? Like, and it's so hard right now because you talk to coaches and things are moving so fast for them, especially for somebody like Pope, because Calipari, it's a little bit easier, right? He's going from Kentucky to Arkansas. He's recruiting the same players. He brought a few guys with him. I actually love the fact that he only took 3 high school guys with him right now. But somebody like Pat Kelsey, it's overwhelming because at Charleston, he wasn't looking at any of these players really. Brought Rain Smith and James Scott with him. But other than that, I'm going to guess Amari Williams because he played against them. Sorry, not Amari Williams. The players are all over the friggin' place right now. Some of these guys.
Technically, he played against Andrew Carr when Andrew Carr was at Delaware too. So if you're going to sit here and try to pretend that there are Kentucky players on Louisville, just go all in. Name all the former CAA guys. Just do it.
Hard. It's so hard to remember who he's gone up against and this and that. But all I'm saying is going up a level is different. It's harder. It's more overwhelming for a guy like Pat Kelsey than it is even for Mark Pope. It's overwhelming because he wasn't recruiting. A lot of these kids that he's recruiting that he's able to get involved with now, he could not get involved with at BYU. So for Cal, it's easier, and it should be an easier transition. For Pat Kelsey, again, what he's done to put this team together that I think is going to be competitive in year one, but you can do that with the portal. Listen, here's what I'll say. I've said this for years, right? These former NBA guys suck for the most part that come over to college basketball. They're lazy. They stink. Well, now they have a chance. All you need is money. All you need is money, and you're going to put together a team that on paper looks good. Now, the question is, can you construct the right roster, and are you going to put in the time to coach them and develop them? And I actually think it's more important now on your staff to have development guys than ever, because the role of an assistant coach in the past was get me players, get me dudes. Now, honestly, if you got this, you're going to get dudes. So now it's find me a way to have an advantage with all these transfers and find me guys who can develop these guys, who can get them to play together. That's not easy.
Thanks for watching the Field of 68 After Dark. Make sure to hit that like button.